In this story, we will see what the cutest rabbit and the whitest fluffy cat did when they first met. But before we start, make sure you haven't forgotten to subscribe. Otherwise, you won't hear the continuation of their adventures. And if you give us a thumbs up for this video, we will be very grateful. Thanks, guys. Now, let's go back to our cute bunny and the white fluffy kitty. Once upon a time, in a small town, lived a cute little rabbit and a white fluffy cat. They were best friends and always went to school together. Every morning, the rabbit packed his carrot-shaped lunchbox, and the cat carried her tiny milk bottle. One day, while walking to school, the rabbit noticed that the cat was unusually quiet. She didn't even respond to his usual good morning greeting. He decided to find out what had happened. The rabbit slowed down to match the cat's pace and asked, "Are you all right? You seem a bit down today." The cat sighed and replied, "I just feel a little lonely. All the other cats are hanging out with their friends, and I don't have any friends here." The rabbit felt bad for her. He knew how it felt to be the new kid in school. When he had first started attending this school, he, too, had been nervous and unsure of what to expect. But then the teacher had welcomed him with a big smile, and the other animals had been very friendly. He remembered how the cat had come to class for the first time, and all the other cats had hissed and growled at her, telling her she wasn't welcome. Determined to help the cat make some friends, the rabbit suggested, "Why don't we visit the playground after school? We can invite some of the other animals and maybe they'll want to play with us." The cat perked up at the suggestion. "That sounds like fun," she said, giving the rabbit a grateful smile. "Thanks, rabbit." When the school bell rang, signaling the end of classes, the rabbit and the cat gathered their things and headed to the playground. The rabbit bounced with excitement, hoping everything would go well. As they approached the monkey bars, they saw a group of monkeys swinging and playing. The rabbit hesitated, not knowing how to approach them. Suddenly, one of the monkeys, a cheeky fellow with a red cap, shouted, "Hey, newcomers, why don't you come and join us?" The rabbit and the cat exchanged a surprised glance. They hadn't expected such a warm welcome. The cat, still a bit shy, asked, Can I play with you?" The monkey with the red cap grinned. "Of course. Want to try the monkey bars? I bet you can do it," he encouraged, extending a hand to help her. The cat hesitated for a moment, then took his hand and swung herself onto the monkey bars. With the red cap monkey's help, she managed to swing from one bar to the next. Laughter echoed through the playground as the cat, initially a bit shaky, started enjoying herself. The rabbit joined in, cheering her on and having fun. As the sun began its descent, casting long shadows across the playground, the rabbit and the cat sat on a nearby tree stump, watching the other animals playing. The cat, who had made several new friends, couldn't stop smiling. She turned to the rabbit, her eyes shining with happiness. "Thank you," she whispered, "for helping me make friends. I was so lonely before, but now I feel like I belong here." The rabbit, his heart warmed by her gratitude, simply smiled. Seeing the cat happy filled him with joy. They continued watching the other animals play until it was time to go home. As they walked along the path, the cat suddenly stopped and turned to the rabbit. "Do you want to visit the moonlight meadow tomorrow?" she asked, her voice filled with excitement. "I heard the fireflies will be putting on a show." The rabbit's ears perked up at the mention of fireflies. He loved watching their magical display of light. "I'd love to go," he replied. "It's been a while since I've seen the fireflies." The cat purred with delight. "Then it's settled," she said. "We'll meet here at dusk. I can't wait to see the fireflies with you." The rabbit nodded, his mind already picturing the beautiful sight. As they reached the cat's house, she turned to him, her eyes sparkling. "Thank you again for everything today," she said, her voice sincere. "I really needed that." The rabbit waved his paw dismissively. "No need to thank me," he said with a smile. "We're friends, remember. Friends help each other." The cat returned the smile, her heart full of warmth. The next day arrived quickly, and the rabbit was eager to see the fireflies with the cat. As dusk settled and the sky turned into a canvas of deep blues and purples, the rabbit hopped excitedly at the edge of the moonlight meadow. The cat soon joined him, her white fur glowing softly in the fading light. Together, they found a cozy spot on a hill overlooking the meadow. As darkness enveloped the surroundings, thousands of fireflies began to appear, their tiny lights twinkling like fallen stars. The rabbit and the cat sat mesmerized, watching the magical display. The fireflies danced and twirled in the twilight, creating an enchanting spectacle that filled the meadow with wonder. The rabbit, filled with awe, turned to the cat and exclaimed, It's so beautiful." The cat nodded, her eyes shining with delight. "I knew you'd love it," she purred. A comfortable silence fell between them as they continued watching the fireflies. After a while, the rabbit, feeling a bit shy, decided to break the silence. I had a great time today," he said, his voice a bit nervous. The cat, sensing his nervousness, smiled reassuringly. "Me too," she replied. "It was fun spending time with you." The rabbit's heart lifted at her words. He had been hoping she felt the same way about their friendship. As the night deepened and the fireflies continued their mesmerizing dance, the rabbit and the cat talked about their dreams and aspirations. The cat, with her adventurous spirit, spoke of her desire to travel beyond the town, while the rabbit, always the artist, shared his dream of painting the most beautiful sunset. Their conversation flowed easily, and they discovered many shared interests and values. Suddenly, a shooting star streaked across the night sky, leaving a trail of sparkling light. "Make a wish," the cat whispered, her eyes gazing at the heavens. The rabbit closed his eyes, hoping his wish would come true. He wished for their friendship to last forever. When the first rays of sunlight began to touch the horizon, signaling the start of a new day, the rabbit and the cat slowly got up from their grassy perch. They had spent hours lost in conversation and hadn't noticed the passage of time. As they stood there, stretching their limbs and yawning, the cat turned to the rabbit. "I had a wonderful time," she said, her voice filled with contentment. "Thank you for coming with me." The rabbit nodded, his heart echoing her sentiment. "Me too," he whispered, his gaze fixed on the rising sun. They stood in silence for a moment, appreciating the beauty of the morning and the magic of the previous night. As the sky turned from deep blues to soft pinks and oranges, they knew it was time to part ways and begin their day. The rabbit hopped towards his home, his mind still filled with thoughts of the cat and their wonderful evening together. The cat, with a spring in her step, made her way to her house, her heart lighter and her spirit soaring. From that day on, the rabbit and the cat became inseparable friends. They shared their dreams, their fears, and their love for adventure, always ready to support and comfort each other. The memory of their first meeting at school and their magical night at the moonlight meadow remained etched in their hearts, a constant reminder of the beautiful bond they shared.